Remember that movie scene when the Wizard of Oz is being all wise and powerful until Toto pulls back the curtain to reveal a mere mortal? And he tries to cover by saying, "Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain." We want you to pay attention, close attention, because in this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on depression to reveal that it, like Oz, is a lying bully and a really unoriginal one, as you'll soon learn. Hi, I'm Terry McGuire. Some quick background before we dive in. A few years back, I was taken down by depression. I did not recognize it as a common and treatable illness. And that has a lot to do with the fact we're not taught the symptoms of depression or how to have uncomfortable conversations with people who are struggling, which leaves us to try to figure it out alone. So when I finally got healthier, I started the Giving Voice to Depression podcast to share the stories of people who've been in the pit and found ways out. As its producer and co-host, I have had the privilege of interviewing hundreds of people about their experience of depression. You're about to hear some of them as we share this video for the very first time and do a deep dive into one of depression's least talked about symptoms, the dark, damning thoughts it plays incessantly in our minds. We've got to warn you, hearing the voice of depression for the next 4 minutes is going to be hard. But since people without depression probably don't know much about these thoughts, and those of us with it have likely never had the opportunity to hear what anyone else is thinking, we believe there's great value in the discomfort. Here now are some of our podcast listeners answering a question they'd never been asked before. What does your depression tell you about you?
Ooh, I might cry if I tell you.
To be honest, I'm nervous about this prompt because I'm not sure I want to hear all of the mean things depression says to people. But here goes.
I think when I'm in the depths of feeling low, I feel that I'm alone. I'm the only one feeling that way.
Depression has always told me that I'm alone.
The main thing is that I feel alone.
That I am unloved, that I am unlovable, that I am not important, that I don't matter.
My depression tells me that the people in my life don't actually like me, they just tolerate me.
Depression is saying, you're so stupid and you're so worthless.
I'm worthless.
Worthless.
I'm useless to everybody.
Like I add no value to the world.
That I have no value.
I'm really a broken person.
That I'm broken.
And nobody's going to understand my brokenness.
Depression tells me that I'm not good.
Yeah, not good enough. I mean, I think that's like the core of it is I'm not good enough to be happy.
My life would not amount to anything ever.
The main thing that my depression says to me is why bother?
Sort of a constant interrogation of thought and action. This sort of constant why you, why bother?
Nothing matters. Nothing matters.
Why bother to brush your teeth or take a shower or get out of bed some days?
And it does so in the most diabolical way. It learns to speak in your own voice, learns to speak in first person with its sole goal to eradicate your self-worth and eliminate all traces of hope so that it has the opportunity to grow.
Depression tells me that I have no right to be alive.
The world would be a better place without me, and the world wouldn't miss me.
My daughter and my husband would be better off if I was not there.
My depression said everyone, including all my animals, were better off without me.
And I can't disappoint people anymore, and I can't drag down other people's lives. So I'm just going to get out of the way and be done, and everyone will be happy.
When I'm in depression, all of those things feel true. and it feels like I'm going to be stuck there forever.
My depression tells me that nothing's going to change.
At its worst, my depression tells me that things are never going to get better, and that in both my own individual life and in the world writ large, everything is going to get progressively worse.
I know what the truth is, but this depression, it makes it feel real, and our body doesn't know the difference.
Whew. So the second question we asked, does hearing that, does learning that depression tells us all the same lies change anything for you?
That's really powerful. Ooh. I have felt every one of those things that I just heard at one point or another.
The mere fact that everybody hears depression in a very similar way tells me that this is not about me and what is being said is true. It's just what comes with depression.
Revelatory. The best way to put it, it was just revelatory. It just was like, wow, this is the peace. I'm not a bad human being.
So if only I knew that many other people out there had these thoughts, I don't know if I would have attempted.
All those things I just heard, I'm crying because I feel a connection to those people and it makes me feel not alone, but I'm sad because I'm not alone.
For as catastrophic as any given thought may feel, it's not a condemnation of me individually, but rather an effect, something that I'm falling victim to, as many people do.
It most certainly proves to me that I am not alone in this battle. And those are words that I hear and can feel sort of like rhetoric or cliche to me sometimes. But if this is true, that it's telling everybody the same thing, that isn't going to be a cliche for me anymore.
I just had a little thought while we were sitting here and listening to that. Those are all symptoms of depression. Now, if we had cancer, we would have symptoms. Or if we had a cold, we'd have symptoms. And they might be similar. I never considered that depression has the same symptoms in your head, the same thoughts in your head.
I felt like I was defective. And then all of a sudden to realize that was depression that was talking to me, that filled my head for all those years. And that was really powerful.
I don't know. It feels like it's pulling back the curtain, revealing the omnipotent Oz for the small, weak imposter and bully that he really is.
And there's power in that knowledge. So we asked a cognitive behavioral therapist to tell us how we can use what we all just heard and learned to help better understand and manage our own and someone else's depression.
Yeah, there is that tendency, I think, when you're feeling depressed and you have those negative thoughts about yourself in particular, that you don't think other people share this. This is you. This is uniquely you. And when you hear the stories, when you hear other people talk about their experiences, there is a sense of connectedness there. There's a sense that, wait a second, maybe this isn't true. Maybe this is the depression lying to me. Maybe there's another way of approaching this. So if we focus on the thoughts and we focus on the behaviors, not only do those interact with each other or influence each other, but they also will influence how I feel. So my thoughts are more realistic, more balanced. That will help me feel somewhat better. That will also influence my willingness to engage or re-engage in my life. That re-engagement will influence the thoughts, and then will also influence those emotional responses. So we tend to put more of our emphasis on both the thought and then the behavior aspect of this.
It is our sincerest hope that this information will be a valuable tool in your mental health toolkit, and that you'll be able to remember that these horrible thoughts are symptoms and not personal truths. You do have value. You will not always be in depression's grip, and you most certainly are not alone.
I think that's the power of what you're doing right now, is that you are collecting these voices in our heads and saying, hey, you're not alone. Let's all talk about it and let's stop letting it rule our whole lives.